All right, guys, here we are ready for our first flight. The cameras are all set up. I got my goggles right here. As you can see, it's recording the screen of the goggles right now. We have the drone right here. She's ready to go. Just gonna plug it in and that's it. So I have my goggles on. I'm gonna do my first flight without the goggles. I'm used to flying drones from the outside perspective. I'm not gonna go put the FPV goggles on and get myself too immersed, too overwhelmed. Besides that, we should hear two tones. So let's plug it in and see what happens. So this is the moment of truth here. It's a little more difficult than I expect. All right. Cool. Don't know what that means. Let's see if we can find the channel on this bad boy here. So we'll do a search. Well, it's saying horizon, so I think we're good. All right, so you can see what it's doing there. All right, time to put the controller on. There you go. Normal, horizon. So it all shows correct, but no video from there. Now, I'm not gonna play around with this too long just because I don't wanna burn the VTX up. Let's arm it. There you go, it works. I can hear it. I just can't see any image. We'll do one more search again. She is ready to rock and roll. Sorry, terrible first flight, but I do want to get the flight up. So let's fly this thing. Have my controller here, and let's see. So yeah, guys, it flies like my toy drone, and I wish I had my glasses on to see it better, which I have right here. Not bad. Let's see if we can get it in the frame here. Very stable. Not bad at all, guys. I'm gonna land it there for a second. Wow, I wish I could have an image on this thing. All right, let's go again. I can see a lot better. Bring it towards me. All right, guys, so I have zero experience with the FPV. And unfortunately, I also have a fan on in the room. So I'm gonna scoot back a little bit. It's fairly stable, guys. Obviously, it's in angle mode. There you go. Not bad for a first flight. Let's see if I can yaw this thing. All right, so there's the yaw. The thing is, you can't be too aggressive with the sticks. Pretty damn good. Oh yeah. All right, let's go over here. Explore the room a little bit. All right, there's my first crash and disarm, because once it goes down, it goes down. All right, so it recorded everything there, my stats. That was 3 minutes and 51 seconds. First flight, not bad. I'm gonna try to work out this VTX here, make sure I have the image here, and then try it again. VTX. How do I get it? Power. Boom. Whoa. Holy crap. This thing said 400. All right, so now we're down to 25. Woo! Oh, this is the channel right there. Band, race band 7. So if I go to race band 7, All right, so race band 7. Is this thing warm? Dude, these things put out so much energy. The antennas are warm, like the base where you screw, super warm. And R, that's race band. And then the channel 7, R, 6, 7. All right. Boom. Ha ha ha. Oh my God. There it is. Race band 7. So doing the auto search, it did not get it. So here's my setup. Here's the camera, you guys. Not bad. I'm gonna switch the battery. We're gonna do another flight, and I think this one will be a little bit smoother. We can record our flight this time and see what the quality of that Caddx 4K camera looks like. All right, guys, I'm impressed with this thing. I am going to charge it up, and I think we'll go outside. Let's go outside, fly this thing, and I'll give you my final thoughts once I get back. Woo! All right, guys, we are back inside, and that was one experience. I gotta give you FPV guys a lot of props. It looks a lot easier on the computer, on TV, and it wasn't as easy as I thought at all. So we did a few flights in the room here. You saw that it looked okay. I didn't use the goggles only because it's a very enclosed, tight space, but we did go outside. And I'm sure you saw the video. Now, I have to say, today was a really, really windy day. Today we were around 20 knots to 25 knots. That's around 25 to 30 miles an hour. And those are some pretty bad winds. Those are pretty strong winds. I just didn't want to wait for another day, a day or two when the winds would die down, if that even happens. So I did want to fly it today, but as you can see in the videos, the winds were really strong. It was a factor in my performance. So let's break down the flying here. It was pretty cool. I did fly the first time without the goggles, and the wind was really tossing the drone around. Now this thing has all these accelerometers and stuff in here to keep the plane stable, or at least keep the horizon level when it's flying. But the wind was just tossing this around. Obviously these FPV drones, they do not have any GPS in there, so there's no GPS hold. If the wind takes this thing, it is gonna drift, and drift pretty aggressively, especially with 30 miles an hour winds. It does impact the controllers and sensors in here, so I noticed a lot that it would oscillate a lot because the wind is taking it, and then the propellers and the computer is compensating for that, trying to keep it level, so it's just going back and forth left and right. Now, there was a lot of washout as well. Sometimes I would try to climb, I got too high, I would descend, and then it would vibrate, and then I would try to punch out of it by adding some thrusts, and sometimes it would work, sometimes it wouldn't work. But for the most part, this thing is pretty good. It's durable. I think I crashed maybe 7 to 8 times or more actually. Luckily there was grass, well, sand and grass. There's a lot of sand in this thing right now, but there's really no broken parts on here. I was really, really surprised with the camera. There was no scratches on here, just because it protrudes a little bit further than the canopy right here. Although I'm not really surprised because the bumper does protrude further than the camera. The quality of the camera was really, really good. The signal from this drone to the controller and vice versa, and also to the goggles, was flawless. Besides that, the battery life, because I was crashing so often, I didn't really have a steady continuous flight. So yeah, I was averaging I think around 3.5 to 4 minutes. I could see this thing flying for 5 minutes easily, 6 minutes if you're indoors. But today was so aggressive with the winds. I'm just trying to keep this thing in one place. So the goggles performed well. It did record. I didn't see any breakup at all. Very, very clear. The resolution is great. For me, I am nearsighted, so I wear glasses, and this was not a factor for me. Not, I repeat, not a factor for me. But if you're farsighted, that could be a real issue. And then the controller, it worked pretty well. The weight feels good. It feels good with the batteries installed. Before, it just felt really cheapish, like a toy. I still don't like the gimbals on it. I wish there was some resistance, and I wish there was some more weight to the actual gimbals. So more weight here, and then more resistance with the throttle. Besides that, it was responsive though. When I did move the gimbals and the thrust lever or the throttle, then it did respond pretty easily. And I do think for now, for myself, I'm a first time FPV pilot, there was enough power in these motors to do whatever I wanted to do. There are some downsides to the controller, but we'll talk about that in our next video when we talk about 5 things I like about this kit and 5 things I don't like. The last thing I want to talk about here is some issues that only one issue, and that I faced today, and that's probably user induced, but we're talking about here about just the wires. If you look at this drone, you can see the wires are kind of sticking out. It kind of pokes out a little bit. If you can look at it, it kind of protrudes out a little bit from the top. And when you put the battery in here, these things poke out a little bit. So if you can see here in this image, we have a little bit of frayed wires here, and that's frayed on both terminals. I was kind of surprised when I saw it when I got home. What I think happened, because I saw it happen in the room here when I came back, was once the drone, sometimes it touches the ground, whether or not your side was enough, but even straight down, once it touches the surface, obviously there's some sensors in here, accelerometers, and the point is to keep the drone level, well, in angle mode to keep it with the horizon. So sometimes I think it bounces off the ground, and then it just goes bounce, 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 bounce in reverse. It just keeps going. So Maybe I should, you know, disarm the drone quicker, maybe. But because it is bouncing backwards, I think these cables are touching the ground. So the road did do some damage to these cables. It's exposed a little bit. Probably something that I'm doing when I'm flying, so I don't blame that. As far as the rating on this drone, I still rate this thing pretty high. I would say this thing gets a 4.5 out of 5 stars, or 4.5 lows out of 5 lows. And that's a pretty good score. That's really, really good. There are some things that isn't perfect. I do think the controller isn't perfect. That's the first thing. The goggles, although this is kind of a universal goggle, I wish it could consider people with glasses. Besides that, everything is good. I like the quality of it. The price could be argued. You do have the option to get a cheaper drone. You don't have to get the 4K version. I did get the 4K version because not only do I want to record via the DVR and the goggles, which is pretty cool, but I also wanted to document my flights with the 4K version. Overall, I'm pleased with the drone and the product. I'm more disappointed with my performance, but I am going to be hitting the sim as much as possible and trying to improve on this. I can see why people are on board with the FPV system, because this thing is really addicting. You really want to challenge yourself, and the biggest disappointment of the whole day was just the battery life. Not because the battery life is bad, it's only because I'm used to the traditional 15 to 20 minutes flight time in your camera drones. So anyways, guys, that's a good score. I would highly recommend you get this kit if you're a first-time FPV pilot. I do stick by choosing this drone. I think it's perfect for me, although there's some shortcomings, and we'll talk about that in the next video. So guys, what do you think about the drone? Did you like it? You think it's too cheap, it's too small, it's too fast, too expensive? What do you guys think about the drone? Leave those comments down below. I will read those and answer those questions as soon as possible. And if you haven't done so already, please consider subscribing to the channel. Therefore, you'll be notified whenever I do drop a new tech or FPV video, because I do plan to make a lot more videos about these drones. So thanks for watching, and I will catch you in the next video. Peace! Installed them the wrong way, which I just tried to do right now, and I did it the wrong way initially. Oopsie. Keep dropping these things. Therefore, you'll be notified whenever. Nice. All right, that's that. All right. I'm excited. All right, let's do it this time again.